Welcome back everybody, Broadbent here. Today we are doing an overview of the 0.58 update for the forest. This one is quite an important one, so you want to make sure that you don't miss any of these details. So without further ado, let's get straight into it. So straight away we're going to cover the big news, and that is dedicated servers. Yes, that's right, dedicated servers have been announced for the forest. In the patch notes here you can see that they said, "We plan to include dedicated server support this patch, but we had some last minute issues. We have set the next patch to be much shorter than the 2-week cycle and plan to release the first pass of dedicated server support then." This has me, I can't sit down, right? And that's how excited I am for this. This has been needed for so long to reinvent and get that energy back into the game. Honestly, so excited for this and cannot wait for that next update. So following on from the last update, they've added quite a few more user interface additions. You can see that the new home icon has been added to the tree houses. If you ever venture up into the north end of the world, you'll have encountered a boar, the ones that just attack you for no reason if you look at them the wrong way. Well, those lovely little gems have had a little bit of an update. They've got a new model and a texture to go with. The bench has had a bit of an upgrade. You can now seat 2 people on there, and you will no longer sit on top of or in each other. It was really weird before, so now you can sit only 2 people on a bench at a time, but you will sit on each different side. Perfect. Absolutely love it. Your character's model will now look around when you sit on a bench or chair if you look around. Previously, only your camera would move and your player would just sit looking at the floor into space. When you sit on a bench, you can no longer hold your weapon and it will be holstered instead. So the stealth meter icon has had a bit of a revamp. The eye will now appear either filled or unfilled when you are visible and out in the open. Stealth itself has also had a bit of an upgrade. So for example, if you are hiding in a bush and you've got a patrol going past you, you are now less likely to be detected. Also, enemies can now see your flashlight, so if you're walking around in the dark, they can see your light, so be wary of that. Honestly, stealth has needed a bit of an upgrade for a while, and I like to see that they are paying attention to that. The door has got a new unlock icon. They have reduced the amount of hits needed to chop down maple trees. The building construction icons have had a bit of an upgrade. It is now much more clearer to tell what's doing what. So you can see straight away it gives you an example of each point in the blueprint, it tells you what to do, and it tells you what each button can do. Very clear, I absolutely love this change. Also, the rotation icon has got a new texture, however it appears to be rotating in the wrong direction. Is that just me? The arrow says it's going to go anti-clockwise, but the blueprint goes clockwise. Maybe they just need to flip it around. It's also now much easier to place ingredients down into a blueprint. So you can see here the icon actually moves to where you go into the blueprint. So previously you had to find like the sweet spot of the blueprint, like where you placed it, just so you could place a log down. Now it's almost like the bonfire and it will follow you where you go in. By default, it does go to the center as well if you go inside the blueprint. The model also appears to be slightly 2D, but is 3D, so if you like walk around it, it doesn't quite update straight away, and can like squish. Not really sure if that was intended. I don't think it's needed, to be honest with you. Overall though, looking at this change, I am very pleased to see it being added. Honestly, don't know how we managed without this before. Oh dear, this next change makes me really sad, but the mountain goat Broadbent is gone. Players can no longer spawn jump to vertically climb cliff faces around the world. Yep, you heard that right. No longer can you look away from the cliff, walk backwards and jump up it. It just straight up doesn't work anymore. This was an inevitable change, but really, I cry every time. When you skin a turtle, you no longer collect the shell, but instead the meat, leaving the shell behind. Now, I actually couldn't get this to work myself. It just reverted back to the old one, which is where the shell was collected, and the meat was left behind. Not sure if it's an issue with something that I was doing, or if it's an issue with the update, but I thought I'd include it anyway. The custom roof will now turn red if the placement is invalid. So they've added a new rain refractive particle and new cave drips. However, I went around for about 20 minutes trying to find both of these and couldn't. Apologies, but here's some trees instead. The modern axe will no longer play the incorrect sound when hitting plane wreckage. They've added some new impact sounds for arrows when hitting bushes, small trees, and water surfaces. Houseboats and rafts have had their volume tuned for the paddling sound. They've improved the collision for the log sled when it's full of logs. So basically the logs at the top of the log sled now have collision. So for example, if you stand right here and then move to the left, it will move the log sled. It says here that they've added foam and splash particles when moving through water on rafts. Now, during my tests, I couldn't get this to happen. Don't know why, there was no splashing. Not sure if it's because I was in single player or not. Could be an issue with the update, it could be an issue with what I was doing, but I thought I'd include it anyway. The rabbit cage icons no longer remain visible when you destroy it while looking at it. This next change, I feel, is going to be very easily abused, yes, that was a voice crack, in multiplayer. So basically, if two people are on a rope, right, a climbing rope, for example, leaving a cave, you can't pass through each other. That means that if you wanted to troll your friends, you could just sit there. You could go AFK on a rope while they're inside the cave, and they would have to find another way out. Not sure how I feel like this. Yes, it's more realistic, but for the functionality of the game, I feel like it was okay before. The plain cockpit has had a bit of a, what do you call it, a fixer-upper. The pilots now appear in the correct place, some of the textures appear better. Previously, I think the head was like all the way through the chair on the left-hand pilot. Really odd. Rabbits in rabbit cages no longer have synchronized animations. This is really good, so they no longer just appear to be the exact same clone. In multiplayer, they have added 3 new hairstyle variations for the original character. However, through my extensive testing, and trust me, it was extensive, I could only find 2 of the new hairstyles. And then of course on top of that there's the original, so there's 3 in total, but not 3 added. Again, I'm not sure if I'm at fault here or the update is, but I thought I would mention that. And last, but definitely not least, the bug for the repair tool icon always showing up when you looked at something and looked away that needed repairing, they have fixed it. Thank God, that was so frustrating, so now it will no longer show up when you're not looking at something. Thank you. Alright everyone, so that was my overview of the 0.58 update. Really exciting stuff. I feel like they're going to move out of early access soon. I can't say for sure, but that's just the feel I'm getting. They're adding a lot of polish to the game lately, and it's really moving that way to... It feels like a full game. Just really happy that they're adding that extra bit of polish to it now. As always, there are some things that I missed out of this list, so if you want to check out the full patch notes, that is in the description. I don't know about you, but I'm so excited because in 5 days' time, we should be getting dedicated servers. Honestly cannot wait. If you are excited for this, please be sure to press the like button. Alright everyone, thank you very much for watching, and I will catch you in the next video.